What's going on, everyone? It's Bowles, and welcome back to another episode of the Weekend Report. Hope you're all doing well on this Sunday night. It's a bit of a frustrating round for a lot of us, but Cripper brought it home for us. He's just absolute machine. Wasn't great they did against the Crows, but hey, he still scored very well. I'm just checking if all the there's no late updates. No, I don't think there is. So Cripps 130. Yep. So there you go. Beautiful. So I hope you're all doing well on this Sunday night. So we'll get stuck into everything. So I'll go through what I scored, and then we'll get into everything that was. So I end up scoring 2046. I've moved up about 600 spots. I'm in top 5,000 now, which is good. First time for the season. I'm 4,777th overall. So it's good, moving in the right direction. Could have been a lot better, and there was plenty of spuds this week. A couple of guys that went big. Funny enough, my only two 120-plus scores actually came in that final game, which was quite funny. My highest scorer before that was actually Lockie Neal, who was my captain. So to get to get to over 2,000 was obviously very nice. Well, I know a lot of people didn't obviously go over 2,000. So if you put in the comments what you guys got this week, and we'll discuss that. So Andrew Griffith says, he said, everyone scored 2005, drop rank with Gorn captain. How are we all? Well, I'm going good, Andrew. Hope you're doing well. So what? If you scored 2005 and you drop rank, then I reckon par was probably maybe 2020, somewhere around there. So, and then Stephen Young says, hi, all I got 1921, brought in Noah Anderson, didn't see he was a late out, held Hewitt, and still holding English. I feel I did something wrong. Yeah, well, that's just unlucky. That's just carnage hitting you. You got Noah Anderson late out. Speaking of, will hopefully be back this week for you, and hopefully he'll be back this week. So hopefully your week will be better next week. Moonboy, hey mate. Moonboy, hope you're doing very well. Andrew Griffith says, yeah, English should be back. Yeah, hopefully he is. Stephen Sexton, 2081. I own lead. I don't know. I own lead. I don't know what that is. And Dawson, but no Cripps. Oh, okay. You own. I don't know who led is, but yeah, Dawson. Yeah, Dawson did well. And yeah, Steve, mate, I reckon if you can get Cripps in, Cripps is must have, I reckon. But yeah, 2081 is very good. That would have probably moved you up in the rank. Moonboy 21-23 this week, moved up a few spots. Yeah, Moonboy, you would have 21-23. It's a very good score this week. I don't think many people in either league I'm in got over 2,100. So I've got one in my own personal league, and then another league I'm in, there was 1, 2. Yeah, only 2 people got over 2,100. So you did quite well, and you scored the most, I think, out of anyone that I've seen. So that's a good week for you. Who scored? Was it 21? Yeah, 21-34 was the highest in either league. So yeah, very good from you. Stephen Sexton, yeah, I held Hewitt. Yeah, I think a lot of people did. I did the same. Andrew Griffiths, I'm ranked around 1.2k. Well, that's obviously very good. Definitely a lot better than what I'm doing. So that's congrats for that, Andrew. And then Stephen says, I loot McCartney E86 also. Yes, I did do that as well. I had the best. I was able, because Stewart being a defender mid, I had the flexibility with defender being in my midfield. I was able to get McComb or McCartan, and McCartan was obviously good. He's his career high score as well of 86. So good time to get it. And the good thing is he'll make some more money for us as well. His break-even was, 56? So he'll probably have break-even of 30-odd next week, and hopefully can make some more dollars for us. I know a lot of people did jump off of him. I didn't, because there's no defender rookies, and I couldn't get rid of him. So yeah. So, all right. So +3, -3. I think I'll go negative first, because I want to get... Actually, no, I'll go positive first. I always go positive first. So I'm not going to choose Cripps, because Cripps is every week. Cripps is just 130s every week, and he's just like a +3 that is probably going to be universally said as a +3, because not many people scored as high as him. And I put a stat up on Twitter before, so he hasn't scored under 112 in any full game this year. Taking out that 36 he got against Gold Coast, he was on track for another 120. He hasn't scored under 112 this year, and he hasn't scored under 123 in his last 5 full games. He's gone 123, 138, 123, 125, 130. Absolutely ridiculous numbers. He's just an absolute machine. The only knock on him, if it was any, is he's just getting a lot of handballs, and it could be 140s and stuff, but I'm not knocking him for that. He's still getting plenty of the ball. He's still scoring well. But my +3 is going to go to Jordan Dawson. 128. So his biggest game for the year. I was hoping today was going to be the day that he was going to go off and he did, which is good. That's his first score over 120 for the season, well, over 115 for the season. So his last two, he's got back-to-back hundreds, 106, 128. He's been really solid. He's got he had a quiet game in the first game with only 75, but he got 50-odd points the second half. 111 against Collingwood, 100 against Port with that famous goal that he kicked. 85 against the Bombers, had a negative 2-point quarter. Richmond got 99, had only a 10-point quarter for one of those. 82 against the Dogs, again, had another quiet quarter of only 10 or so points, and then back-to-back 100. So I think if you're looking for a defender, I think he's a very good option that you can look at. He's got the round 13 bye, which is good because there's not a lot of premium defenders that got that round 13 bye. So if you're looking for a bye for someone there, he's a good option. Got a couple of difficult matchups these next couple, Brisbane, St Kilda, Geelong, but I think that they're going to be teams that score a lot of points to get to Crows. So I think Dawson could actually be in for it could actually be a decent run for him. He's got West Coast and his bye, but then after that, he's got Gold Coast, North Melbourne, Hawthorn, and Collingwood. So I think he's a good option. His break-in was 95. He's obviously going to rise in price, going to be about 780, 785 this week. So yeah, I'd encourage people to, if they want to bring him in, I'd be getting him in. So also, leave your plus threes, negative threes in the live chat as well, and we can read them out once I've done this. But yeah, so -3. There are plenty of people that I could shout out here for these negative threes. Who are we going to go? So my two lowest scorers under 60 was Horn Francis and Patrick Naish. I think Naish was wet weather, so I'm actually surprised he got to a 50 in the end. Horn Francis is a rookie, and a lot of people got him. It's probably got to be, I think I've got to give a joint one to Dunkley and Gawn and this isn't a -3 as in I'm annoyed them because they've done so well pretty much for the whole season, especially Dunkley as well, but they're both obviously poor games. Duncan is 62 and then Gawn 67. I don't really know what they were. And then even a guy like Heaney, only 67. I brought him in this week, continues my Brigadier premiums and them not performing. So I brought Dawson for 100 points. That was okay. Brought Taranto in for 92. Brought Bailey Smith in for 92. And brought Isaac Heaney for 67. And I brought Cripps in for a 125 last week, but technically doesn't count. I had him, got rid of him, brought him back. So I haven't actually brought in a new premium that's actually gone bang. So hopefully we can do something like that this week. But yeah, there's plenty of guys. Nick Martin and Will Brody got a shout out as well as good players this week. 104s, just very impressive. So we'll obviously go into them in a bit more detail. So what have we got here? So Andrew Griffith says, I got Ainsworth 99 for Hewitt. Yeah, you'd be laughing at that. It's Ainsworth or McCartney or something like that would have been very, very good for coaches that had that ability to loophole that with Hewitt. So that's good. Stephen Sexton +3 for Laird for me. Yeah, Laird is one of my targets this week. I'm really looking at him this week. He's got what? He's gone 110 against the Dogs at Mars when no one really scored well. Got a 120 or 118 against the Giants when he got tagged by Lockie Ash. And then he got a 122 against Carlton today. So he's super consistent. That's now 33 games in a row. He's had at least 25 disposals. So you always got that safe floor with a guy like Laird. If he has a poor game, he gets a 90. He might have one game a season where he gets like an 80 or a 75 or something. But besides that, he's just as consistent as they come. Stephen Young, -3 Butters. Yeah, 100%. Butters just, if we didn't have these rookies and stuff, I think he'd be gone for a lot of people. I saw someone put on Twitter that he's the Tom Phillips of this year. And I'd probably have to agree with that. He's just not good enough at the moment. I just don't know what's going on with him. Moonboy +3 Hobbs. That 95 came out of nowhere. Yeah. I was surprised he got 95 as well, but I don't have him as well, but I saw the 30 and then the 46 a week before. I'm like, yeah. And then he got 95. So that's good. Obviously, good money, good cash generation for all of his owners. That's obviously good for him. Stephen Sexton, a bit harsh, but -3. Kane Coleman on debut, 56, but yeah, was wet. Yeah, it was wet, but I guess if your team, you did quite, you got 2081, Stephen. So that's actually, you probably didn't have too many people under 60. So he's probably the guy you probably have to give it to. And you also said, had Hobbs on bench and fielded Coleman, could have just gotten Clark low. Yeah, unfortunately. Stuff like that happens. Rookie roulette, as we always say. Andrew Griffith says, +3 Cripper, brought him in. Negatives, and obviously the very, very good move, bring Cripps in. If you don't have Cripps, you need to jump on because his break even, what was 94, he's going to be now over 850k next week, and he's just going to continue rising. So he's just killing it at the moment. And yeah, a -3 is Butters. Do we trade? Oh, I wish. I've probably got Horn France. If you've got no other issues, you can. I think you can definitely get rid of him, but I think Horn Francis, for a lot of people, is going to be still on field. So he's probably going to go because he was going to be gone for me this week. But obviously with Hewitt not being there and what's his name? Crap. Who am I thinking? Can't remember who I'm thinking of. Crouch. That's right. Crouch got dropped. So yeah, of course. And then Moon Boy says Bales, his hands down the best content, guided me so well this year, mate. Oh, mate, appreciate that. Appreciate those kind words. I'd like to be. Wait, where did you say you were ranked? Didn't you say you were ranked quite well? Yeah, I wish I was a lot better ranked. If I was first overall in the country, I'd be. I'm not happy about. Oh well, that's what can you do? So yeah. And then the final one, Stephen Young says, actually trade question. Okay, yeah. So I'll answer those towards the end when I've got through all the games and stuff. So because you never know, I could answer them. But yeah, thank you for that, Stephen. If you've got other questions, well, leave them in the live chat and I'll get to them once we're done. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you leave a like on the video. It helps the channel. We've got 3 people currently watching, haven't liked it yet. So if you want to chuck a like on it, takes 2 seconds, helps me out. So thank you very much for the support. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, click subscribe button. Always appreciate as well. And also turn notifications on so don't miss when I go live every Sunday night after the final game, and then every Friday at 4 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time. So 4:30 for pretty much everyone in the East. So for Eastern Standard Time, whatever it is. So there you go. So let's get started on all these games. So Port Adelaide and the Bulldogs on Friday night. Travis Boak 110. So this wasn't a very high scoring game fantasy wise there. So Travis Boak with 110. He's getting it done every week. I still don't think he's going to be a top 8 mid, but hey, he keeps getting it done. So if you're hot on him, I think he's not. You can do a lot worse than a guy like Travis Boak. I think he's quite expensive as well. So you got to be wary of that. What he's dropped a little bit. So he's 895. He's currently averaging 111.8 for the year. Only 2 games under 100. One of them was at Kazali Stadium, and then the one against Carlton. So he's doing very well. So if you're hot on him, you can pick him up, I guess. But he is quite expensive. I think I'd rather a couple other options. But hey, Jack McRae 110. Good to see him back over the 110 mark. It's been a while since that happened. So good for Jackie. He played well. There was a period, I think, in the last quarter where he didn't touch it for a long time. So that could have been a 120 if he did. But 32 touches. We're just waiting for that big 140 plus game from McRae. We haven't got that this year, so hopefully that's coming soon. Bailey Smith, 100 exactly. So again, I haven't had a big score from Bailey Smith. 92, 100, and 100. He's been a little bit down in terms of numbers, like his marking in particular has been down. So in the first few weeks when I didn't own him, always when I don't own these players, he had 7, 5, 7, 7 marks in the first 4 games, and then he's gone 1, 4, and 1. So that those numbers are down. His tackle numbers have stayed pretty similar throughout the year. So hopefully he can start getting some more marks and touch the ball more. But Port it's a little bit more difficult matchup. Bulldogs, I think their next 3 games is very, very nice. So if you've got Bulldogs players, they should be in for a good couple of weeks. They got Collingwood at Marvel, Gold Coast at Mars, which is a little bit annoying, but it's against Gold Coast. Hopefully some big scores there, and then West Coast at Optus. So big games coming, I think. And then Geelong at Marvel isn't too bad either. It's at Marvel, not at GMHBA, but yeah. So who else we got? Amtrell got a 90. That's about pretty much where he's been most of the year. So again, you're not trading him out, but I don't know if he's going to be a top 6 forward. He's probably going to be around 7, 8, 9 in terms of overall ranks at the end of the year, but he's getting it done each and every week around that 90 mark. So he's not the least of your worries at the moment. Riley Bonner got injured. He was on track for big score as well, but he does have these games where he goes massive and then he has a lot of those 60s. So he wasn't an option, but unfortunately this ankle injury looks like a syndesmosis, so he's probably going to be out for a little while. Ollie Wines, 79. A little bit down. Didn't notice him too much, but Bulldogs are a bit tougher to score on for midfielders, and he is getting very, very cheap for all of us to jump on. 79, his break even, I think, was still over 120, I believe. So if I look at, Ollie Wines, break even, he's 832, break even 130. So he's going to be under 800K soon. So he's going to be a guy that I think we're going to target after that round 12 bye. I think he could be a guy that could be good to bring in. Connor Rosie got 67. A little bit annoying because he did have that midfield role. He attended how many CBAs? So there was 25, and Rosie went to 16. So he was the second most for Port midfielder behind Ollie Wines. So probably a little bit annoying he didn't have that a bigger score, but I think, again, you can hold on to him. I'd rather hold on to him over a guy like Butters, for example, because at least Rosie's getting a lot more midfield time, whereas Butters has been so frustrating. Houston only a 64. So yeah, a lot of Port players didn't actually score great, but obviously they won the game, so that's obviously good for them. But yeah, Houston only 64 again. I've been weary of this. He can do this every now and again. He can give you 60s and stuff. Just, yeah, a bit annoying. I wouldn't, he's on pretty much on my never again list, so I couldn't own him. Zach Butters, 63 again, just didn't play great. He was lucky that he took 7 marks because if he didn't, he would have been under 50 again. So if you've got the luxury to get rid of him, I would. But if you've got guys like a Horn Francis or even like a guy like a Josh Ward on your field, then I'd get rid of Butters. Sam Hayes, 63. So again, continues that cash generation, 37 hitouts in that as well. So he's not high score in terms of outside the hitouts. He doesn't do a lot around the ground. He's still obviously a young ruckman, but good for cash generation on our benches. Josh Dunkley, 62. Obviously, his first poor game of the year. It looked like he was very wobbly after a late head knock. So I don't think he was concussed or anything like that, or failed a concussion test after the game. But I would just doubly make sure everything's fine with him. But yeah, not his best game, but he'll be back hopefully better next week. What else we got? Caleb Daniel on your 52. So if you were looking at potentially him as an option, he's just not. He's just going to give out these. He's a bit like Houston. He'll just give you these 60 scores when you sort of don't want him to give you the scores, even though you don't want him anyway. But when you most need him to get a big score, he doesn't deliver, unfortunately. Roy McComb got a 50, gave away, I think, 3 or odd free kicks, so that could have been near a 60. And when the Bulldogs did struggle a bit, it's actually not a bad score, keeps cash generation going. I think his break-even was, negative 18, so he's still going to make some good money for us, and I wouldn't imagine he'll be dropped. I think there's other players in that Bulldogs team that could be dropped before him. A lot of people scored under 50 points, so... Buku Karmas looked good. I just don't know if he's going to hold his spot, but he's a defender rookie. So if he did hold his spot, then that's an option that people could look at bringing in. And I think that's about it. So nothing too interesting outside that didn't score too great. So Freo and North Melbourne. Andrew Brayshaw, as is the cover of the thumbnail on the video, and one of the highest scorers for the week. I think he's like the 3rd highest scorer or 4th highest scorer, something like that. 134 points, 34 disposals, 6 marks, 7 tackles. He just, every week he fills the stat sheet. It just, without fail, he fills the stat sheet. So he's currently averaging 120.3 for the year, including the 83 he got against Geelong with tagged, GOS game where he got tagged, got a 110, then the West Coast game he got tagged, got 95. I think the good thing is he's the one Freo midfield that's playing around 80% game time or more. He only had the one game under 77% all year, which was against Carlton when he only got 72%, but he still got a 116. So in every game this year, he just, again, so round 1, 6 marks, 7 tackles. Round 2, 10 marks, 8 tackles. Round 3, 3 marks, 5 tackles. Round 4, 5 marks, 6 tackles. Round 5, 5 and 4. Round 6, 5 and 8. Round 7, 3 and 4. And round 8, 6 and 7. So taking out his 2 lower scores for the year, the 95 and the 83, when he got tagged in both, he gets at least 5 marks and 5 tackles a game. So that's, again, you're guaranteed, essentially with him, you're guaranteeing a 35-point head start on a lot of midfielders because he's guaranteeing you that every week. So he's getting it done every week, and he's definitely got, I'm looking at this week, potentially bringing in. I know he's expensive. He's going to go down maybe 545, but I just think that he's just getting it done every week. He's probably going to be one of the top 2 or 3, which, knowing me now, I bring him in, he's going to do crap. So, but he's got Gold Coast, Collingwood, and Melbourne in his next 3. And Melbourne give up, obviously, a lot of points to midfielders. So, yeah, I think. And then he's got Brisbane at Optus, which is obviously better than the Gabba. And he's got Hawthorn at Optus. So, I think he's going to go nuts over these next 5 weeks. And he's definitely a guy that if you can afford to pay up, I think he's a guy that you can pay up because he's getting it done. Sean Darcy, 125. So, he's 667K, really cheap. So, the good thing about him playing and doing well is that if Bruce suddenly was having a Bruce for us, we can go to Darcy. It's an easy switch. It won't cost you very much at all. So just a guy to keep an eye on. Caleb Sarong, 112. If you still got him flowing in your team, you would have been happy with that. Just hasn't been consistent enough. And it was against North Melbourne. I would put that in there as well. So, but it's good to see a good score from Sarongi. McDonald, 108. Unfortunately, just hasn't been consistent enough to be considered an option. Will Brodie, 104. So he had 37 disposals. So 104 is great. Probably you want a little bit more with 37 touches, but considering he only played 68% again, is ridiculous. And I don't know if you guys watched as well on the game. Will Schofield asked him after the game. He's just like, He's like, I got you my fantasy team. Why don't you play enough game time? He's saying about, he plays his like role for the team, and he's hoping that like as time goes on, he'd probably get more game time. So fingers crossed he gets more game time. But for a lot of us, with Frere's good run, probably hold him to the bye and then move him on at his round 14 bye for an underpriced premium or someone else that you can bring in. Tyrone Thomas got a 90, so again, another guy to watch. Probably not enough to odds before I'd say bring him in, but he's under 550. Just a guy, if he can get another 100, 110, he could be an interesting guy to keep an eye on. So there you go. Heath Chapman's still got him rolling in there. He's got an 89. Same with Hayden Young, 86. Both solid enough, but it was against North Melbourne. Josh Simkin, only 65, just shows, unfortunately, he's just not an option for us to consider. You can cross him off of your watch lists. Nathan O'Driscoll, 65. That was decent considering he was looking on track for a maybe not even a 50. So that's a decent score. He likes getting his 60 odds every week. So if he's doing that, he's still making money. So it's not too bad. Jason Francis, 59. Again, not the worst. He dropped a couple of marks he probably could have taken. There was a couple of mistakes that his teammates made instead of giving him the ball. So that could have been close to a 70. But if you can move him on, he's breaking with 68. He obviously didn't score that, so he's going to go down like maybe a couple of K. But now's the perfect time to get rid of him. Jai Miss looked good for 52. Oh, Amos, or Miss, or however you say it, 52 points with a couple of goals. He's just too expensive to consider bringing into your teams, I think. Neil Erasmus looked really good. He scored 39 points in the one quarter he was on the ground. So he's very, very good for him there. Again, the game was sort of done and it was against North Melbourne, as I've said a few times. So, and then Paul Curtis only got 34. He's going to get gains, but I did sort of flag that he's probably not going to be a high scorer enough for us. So, Andrew Griffith, Stephen Sexton says, I got about 5 red dots. Yeah, a few people got some red dots floating around. I think I got a couple. I don't exactly know how many. Actually, I will have a look. How many red dots have I got? Hoff, Dixon, and Greg Clark and Hewitt. So Hewitt will come back. Greg Clark will be back in next week. So it's really just Dixon and Hoff. Hopefully Dixon comes back. I can't believe they dropped Dixon when they used top-up players instead of him. Couldn't believe that. And then Andrew Griff says, you've seen Cripper tackle today on Twitter. Do you think there's a chance he gets one match ban? Murphy sore neck. I did say attack. I don't think it was anything too bad. I just think that Murphy landed awkwardly, I think. I hope not. I mean, I didn't see a tackle. I'd have to see, but I don't see anything on anywhere about any potential suspension or anything like that for Cripper. I'm just having a look at like the match report and just seeing if like there's anything written about it. Is there anything about Murphy being subbed out? Alan might solid 3. I've seen treatment on his neck, having undergone surgery in the areas of summer. Yeah, there's nothing about. Doesn't seem like anyone's too worried. So I think he should be fine and he'll be all good. Hopefully, he is anyway. And then Moonboy says need Hoff and Dixon back. West Coast are killing me. Yeah, I know. Well, Hoff was going to come back this week, but he got injured, I think, during the week, so he couldn't play. And hopefully, Dixon's back. Like, you can't be dropping players that are on your list that are fit and then getting top up players. I don't think that you can actually do that. But I don't know. So Richmond and Collingwood. I think, did we finish everyone that game? I think we finished everyone. Yeah, we did. Yes, because Paul Curtis was last we talked about. So Richmond and Collingwood at the MCG. Tom Lynch has been really good last 2 weeks. Actually, another 140 for him with 6 goals. And then Curvis, if you did jump on him as a bit of a unique guy in your ruck, he got a 118. So he looked good again as that solo ruck. He is clearly playing as the main ruck for Richmond. He went to 22 CBAs to Soldo's 8. So he's clearly the number 1 ruck there. Darcy Cameron 112. So he's obviously very interesting guy to look at this week. I'm looking at him strongly. 21 touches, 6 marks, 6 tackles, only 14 hit-outs, but 21 touches, and then, as I said, and then 112 points. So he was 487, break even to 40. He's going to be probably 540, somewhere around there. So I think you can jump on him. He buys in round 14. You can ride that for 4 weeks, trade him out, hopefully 650, 700K, and then move him on to someone else that he's buy. So I think he's not a bad guy to bring in. Plus, he's got that, if he gets ruck status in round 12, that could be handy over the buys as well to sort of flick into your ruck, especially because I've got Hayes and Bruce on the round 12 buy. He'll get his DPP that round, flick him into the ruck, and I'll hopefully be able to have someone on my bench playing in the forward. So that's actually me talking about that. Actually, make me really look at him. Jack Crisp, 111. He just keeps getting it done, averaging over 110 after his round one game. So he's just getting it done. Jaden Short, 94. Probably, like, it's not bad considering he's been getting 120s every week. But if you did pay like what, 879 or whatever he was, then obviously it wasn't worth it. But that was probably a move that I would make. I'd pay 879 for Short, and he'd come and get me a 94. So if you did bring him in this week, apologies for that. I'm sorry to hear that anyway. Taylor Adams, 93. He did increase his game time to 75%, which is good. I do want a little bit higher, close to 80% before really looking at him as an option. But yeah, 75%, 23 CBA, second most on the ground, equal second most on the ground with Crisp. So yeah, just a guy to keep watching as a cheap guy. Lipinski only 92 with 30 disposals. You probably want a bit more from that with 30 disposals. Same with Adams, only got 93 with 29, but not many marks or tackles for either player. Bolton, another 90. I just don't think he's consistent enough to consider an option. Dusty Martin, 84. Good to see him back in the team. Good playing footy again. So let's just see how he goes over the next few weeks. Could potentially be an option up forward. Nick Dacos, 83. Really good from him considering he was sick all week and we weren't even sure he's going to play. His break even was 87. So not a must trade, but if you can move him on, he's not a bad guy because he is up at 639 or whatever he's priced at. So it's quite easy to upgrade him to someone of note. Like, I think, 100k to go him to Zorko, and Zorko looked really, really good on Saturday last night. So DeGoey only got 63, but he did attend the most CBOs on the ground with 24. So I didn't watch this game. I watched the other game, the Sydney Gold Coast games, but I don't know if he just went forward after every CBA or what. But he'll obviously keep falling in price, and he'll be a good guy to bring in as a cheap forward in a few weeks' time. Daniel only 62, so if you've got him, you could probably move him on now. He's probably finished making money for you. Aiden Beggar, 54, and Maurice Rioli, 54. I just don't know if they're both going to hold their places long term, so I'm not sold on either of those guys, bringing them in as rookies. But then again, we don't have too many. If you've already got like McComb and Greg Clark, for example, who should hopefully be back this week for West Coast. And that's it from that game. So we'll move on to the other game at the same time, and that was Sydney and Gold Coast, the SCG. Gold Coast again getting it done over Sydney. They do it every year. Excuse me. So David Swallow, 120, scored the most on the ground. I think Noah Anderson being out meant he played a lot more midfield, so I wouldn't read too much into that score. Yeah, a 15 CBA, so I wouldn't read too much into that. If you've got him in draft, though, not bad. Braden Fiorini, finally, we're hearing his name for the first time this year, 118. So again, Noah Anderson being out, more midfield time for him. He went to 7 CBA. So not as many, only 75% game time, but we know he's a good big scorer when he gets opportunity. Jake Lloyd, 109. So that's good to see him over the 100 for the first time in a long time all season, I think. Is that his first ton for the season for Jake Lloyd? Jake Lloyd, he's down at 743. Yep, second ton for the year. Got 106 against Geelong earlier in the season. So, yeah, I just don't know if he's going to be top 6 defender and to consider bringing him in. Joe Witt's 99, so if you still got him floating your ruck, he just keeps getting it done. Nick Blakey got 98, so I know a lot of people moved on from him over the last couple of weeks. So then, obviously, it always happens that you get rid of a guy that's not doing enough, dropping in price, and he goes and gets you a 98. So, Toot Miller, a bit disappointing with only a 92. It was good to see, again, 6 marks, 4 tackles, but only 20 disposals. So his break-in was 95, so he didn't even reach that. So, yeah, he's got to keep an eye on. I probably wouldn't jump on him this week, but, yeah, I want to see more from him. Paddy Mccartney with an 86. As I said before, his career high. If you were able to loophole him on your bench, which I know a few people did, that was obviously very handy. I was one of those. Obviously helped with Hewitt being out. Good for some more cash generation because obviously no defender rookie, so I've had to keep him. But yeah, so good for Paddy Mccartney and good to see him back as well on the field. Luke Parker, 84. The thing that's disappointing about that is he scored 49 points in the second quarter. So what's that? 35 points in 3 other quarters. That's a bit disgusting. So he's lucky he had that massive quarter to get to a respectable score. He's going to be, I think, it's still a top 6 forward, but yeah, I just don't know if he's going to be that consistent 105 plus Luke Parker that we've seen in the past. So Callum Mills, 76. Again, another disappointing one. And a lot of people jumped on him and put him captain after going Dunkley VC, then Mills. That's unlucky. Having both Dunkley and Mills get under 70, getting under 80, you don't normally have that. So yeah, Mills not great. It's probably another reason why you don't pay up for these midfielders because they can just give you a score like this first up. So that's why I want Brayshaw, and I think he wouldn't do that when I get him in, but he could eat quite easily, and you've paid so much money when you can just wait for him to fall down. So I just think Brayshaw's run is just ridiculously easy, so I could jump on him. But Isaac Heaney, 67. Considering he only had one CBA and Sydney got beat, and Sydney was just terrible. To get to a 67 wasn't too bad. Again, I was a bit annoyed that he only got one CBA when you've got like Papley's more of a forward and he's getting a lot more midfield time than he. I don't understand that personally. I don't get it. Who were some other people that got more CBAs than Heaney? And this is biased on because I just brought him in, but like Warner was great, and Mills and Parker obviously your main three. But like, so yeah, Rowe went to 9, Papley 6, then like Kennedy with 2, and Goulden and McInerney had 1 each. But I just feels like they need to get Heaney more midfield time. Like he's a bull, and he's naturally a midfielder. He's just so good as a forward. So, but yeah, I guess we'll just have to see and find out. But then again, he did have 3 behinds. That could have been at least an 80 if he kicked straight. So I'm disappointed he got that on his first game on the debut for my team, but I think he'll be fine moving forward. Justin McInerney, 67. Again, just not consistent enough to be an option. Matt Rowney, 58. If you've got him, it's probably time to go. He had a couple of okay games back-to-back, but 58. It's just as bad as a rookie, really. So I think you can move him on safely. Roy Thompson, only 39. If you've got nothing else for rookies, you could just go rookie on your bench down to him, but I just don't think he's going to be consistent enough. He probably won't even make 50K, I don't think. He's not going to be a high scorer as being key defender. So, and then Malcolm Rose, that's only 23 points. Again, small forward, are prone to quiet games like that. So, yeah, he's just probably need to move on from him. He's probably cash generation is probably nearly finished. So, Giants and Geelong, tip Giants again, and they lost again. So I haven't got Giants correct, I don't think, once this year. So Blitzarves, 133. He was good again. Obviously, solo ruck for him did help. Just depends if Stanley's out for a while. I don't know what is Blitzarves' price. Guys, I have seen he's had a couple of good games recently. Blitzarves is defender, 687K. Averaging 90 for the year. Last 2, 116 and 133. If he was a solo ruck, he would be interesting because he does get around the ground a lot. He does fill the stat sheet up. But if he's not the solo ruck, I wouldn't be looking at him. So unless Stanley was out for a while, I wouldn't be looking at him. Mitch Duncan, 124. So his first big game for the season. He's underpriced. What is he now? Mitch Duncan's now down at 720K, breaking 114. So this is so he's going to start rising in price. St Kilda, Port, Adelaide, and Bulldogs is next 4. So he just looked back to the Duncan of old. Played his most game time for the season with 89%. So yeah, potentially could be an option. I wish he did get some tackles, like 3 or 4 tackles would be handy just to knock that to a 140. But hey. He's definitely an option to look at and consider. Stengel, the 114, so he keeps getting solid scores. So if you still got him making money for you, and yeah, that's good for him. Isaac Cumming, another 108. So I did say to keep an eye on him. He would be a guy that could potentially be an option with Whitfield moving up the ground. Whitfield did move back and in the midfield in the second half, so I'm hoping they sort of can stick with him being in defence, which obviously isn't great for Cumming if you were looking at him. Ken Guthrie, 107. He was underpriced. I think he's still an underpriced option. I'm just not as keen on him. Tom Green, 98. A solid score, had 9 tackles to get there, which is obviously nice. Lockie Whitfield, 93, again, saved it from his second half, 19 disposals in the second half. And what did he end up scoring in the second half? So he scored in the third quarter, he got 33 points with 8 disposals. And then last quarter, he got 36. So what's that? What did I say he got? So 33 and 36. 69 points in the second half. So very impressive. So again, Whitfield just keeps getting these 90s. So he's solid enough for us, but I don't know if he's going to be top 6 defender if he just keeps getting these 90s because there are a few defenders that are putting up big scores. Tom Stewart, 93 as well. That's solid. Again, just what you get from Tom Stewart. You'll get some big scores. You'll get some scores in the 85 to 95 range and not many scores below that. So, yeah, he's just a solid option if you brought him in this week. You'd be decently happy with that score, sorry. Brandon Cruz, another 91. Again, break even to 26, so he's just going to make bulk money again. Hasn't scored under 85 in any of his games. He's only had 1 game under 90. He just keeps getting it done. Actually, did he have more game time this game. So yeah, up to 78%. So he's gradually increasing close to 80% mark, which is nice. Danger got 90. If you got forward status, he'd be interesting, but not as a midfielder. Taranto, another 89. So again, I haven't seen 100 from Taranto, and he scored 100 in every game before I had him. So yeah, just the life of me bringing in premiums. But an 89, he went to more CBAs this round. Hopefully he'll be better from here. But again, break-in was like 140. He's going to be like 810K. I've lost 120K on him, but oh well, you win some, you lose some. So Josh Kelly, 89. So again, 130, and then he backs up with an 89. He's just not being consistent enough. We wanted probably to see one more big game for him before we looked at him. But Giants, I just don't get what the Giants are doing. They're not playing players in their best positions. They're like Keneally should be playing more midfield. Tommy's playing exclusively as a forward. They're playing Whitfield up forward when he's a lot better behind the ball. They're playing Taranto up forward when he's better as a midfielder. They're playing Callum Ward in there when he shouldn't be taking time off of guys like Tom Green, Josh Kelly, and Taranto. I just don't get what they're doing. So until they figure it out, I think they're going to be very sporadic, pretty much all their players. So is it Mitchell? Mitchell Nevitt? Yeah, Mitch Nevitt. He looked really good. I think he played 3 quarters, scored 66 points. So if he holds his spot, he could potentially be a guy you look at, but I just don't know about his job security long term. Finn Callan got a 68, so if you did have him in your team, that was not a bad score. Canelo 65, again, exclusive as a forward. I think he only went to like a handful of CBAs. Yeah, only 4 again. So he's just not going to be consistent enough. You could move on from a guy like him as well. Got the round 12 bye. Yeah, if you've got no other issues, I think you can safely move on from him because he's just playing forward. He's not going to score well. So he's probably maxed out at 110 playing as a forward, but I don't know. Sam de Conning's first score over 60. So he got a 65. Good for cash generation as well. So handy from him. Cooper Steves with a 53. So he's one of the guys that potentially could be a downgrade option this week. Probably not high enough, and I'm not sure about his job security, so you're probably not going to jump on him, I don't think, this week, unless you've got McComb and Greg Clark already and you're looking for a downgrade there. Cooper Hamilton, only 44. I was hoping you get more than that to be an option, but he's probably not an option. Only 16 or 44, and he might not be in the team next week. Just to see. And Francis Evans only 36, so he's probably not an option for us either. So moving on to the Saturday night games. So Essendon and Hawthorn. Big upset by Essendon, considering they had all those outs. 8 goals, 2 in the last quarter to 1 goal, 2. So they came storming home against the Hawks. Darcy Parish, 131. That's no surprise. Hawthorn get up big points to midfielders. So good score by Parish. I just don't see him being consistent enough to be an option. O'Meara 111. First time I've seen him actually get a decent score for the year. Dyson Apple 105. Solid enough. I just don't see him being a top 6 defender, so probably not an option. John Newcomb 105. So he's been solid for anyone that picked him up as a bit of a unique guy that was cheap. So if you've got him floating around, he's getting the job done for you. Nick Martin. He's just so good, isn't he? 22 disposals, 9 marks, 2 goals, 2. That could have been a lot higher if obviously he kicked if those 2 points were goals. Lockout has not lifted. I was just checking. So Nick Martin has gone up 368K already. Break-in was 42 this week. He's probably going up another 40, 50 odd K this week again. So yeah, he's just making bulk money. He's going to keep making money. Ben Hobbs with 95. Again, very, very good. Actually, I might get a water. My mouth's getting a bit dry. Well, not dry, very slivery, if that makes sense. But yeah, Ben Hobbs, 95. If you had him, good for cash generation with 30 and 46 in his last 2. So it's good that you've with this big score that he'll make money. So if you've got him on your bench, then that's good. And you can potentially play him on field. And if you've got like a Hoff in your midfield or a Mead in your midfield, you can maybe loop him and Greg Clark potentially. If you've got that option, obviously you've got to make sure you've got your looping playing after playing before the guy that's got the red dot. So Dylan Moore, another 95. He's just getting it done every week. I don't think I could do it. He's not playing midfield. He's not playing like a wing role. He's just playing as a forward pushing high up the ground. But he gets it done every week. So why not? Why not? 95 again. Nuts. Jai Caldwell, 94. If you've still got him, I would imagine you probably moved on from him unless you've had Carnage. So if you've got him, you can probably still keep him around for another week. Zach Merritt, 94. Probably wanted more from him against Hawthorn, and I just don't know if he's got the same ceiling as a lot of these other midfielders to be a top 8 mid. But he's in the mix, but I just don't know. Sicily, James Sicily, 88. Again, just gets it done. Very similar to your Jordan Dawson, Tom Stewart, guys that get between 85 and 95. But he's actually been a lot more lately, getting over 100. And he was on 36 quarter time, so probably want a little bit more from him. But I think if Hawthorn were controlling the game a bit more, he might have scored higher. But 88, you're certainly happy with. And he's certainly a guy that you're going to be keeping for the majority of the season, if not the whole season. Who else we got here? Will Daney, 74. Just probably not consistent enough to be an option for us. Josh Water, 53. Probably not quite enough. Conor McDonald, only 52. I think his break-in was like 49, so he's time to move on. Tom Mitchell, 51. 51. That's not good at all. Like, again, he only went to, I think, 15 of 28 CBAs again, so only just over 50%. His break, what was his break even? I haven't seen a 50 from Tom Mitchell like that for a long time. His break-in was 106. So his break-in is going to be like 130, and he's going to be super cheap for us to bring in if he gets more midfield time, because he should be. I don't get why they're playing him more forward. He's a Brownlow medalist. He's their best midfielder. So I know they want to play the kids, but you've really only got Newcombe and in the midfield. I'd play Newcombe, Mitchell, and Ward as the main three, and then you can have Warple as like the fourth guy. That's what I'd be doing, something like that. Or put Warple, Newcombe, and Mitchell, and then Ward can sprinkle in, because I don't know if Ward gets enough of the ball to have like bulk CBA. So he only had 12 for Ward, so he didn't actually have as much. It was more Newcombe and Warple the main two. But yeah, Mitchell only 51. What did Warple actually get? Funny enough, because he had more. So Warple only got a 46. Yeah, he's fallen off something shocking the last couple of years. I don't know what's gone on with him. Kane Baldwin, 51. Again, I just don't see him being a high enough scorer to be an option to bring in. Same with Jackson Callow on your 46 as well. Same with Reed as well, with on your 43. And that's it from that game. So moving on to the West Coast and Brisbane game. So we'll start off with Hugh McCluggage with 141. He was the top scorer of the week. So he had he kicked 4 goals straight, which he's obviously been known for missing a lot of chances. So 4 goals straight, 26 disposals, 10 tackles. He was just very good, wasn't he? He's a unique option and interesting, but I probably wouldn't go for him. 9 CBAs, he's got a decent amount, but yeah, probably just not enough. Dane Zorko, 132. He's definitely an option I'm looking at this week. He's a defender, 732, I think he was this week. Break-in was like 105. He'll be like 740, 745 this week. Got Adelaide and Hawthorn his next 2. He's, very interesting that I'll be looking at. 10 marks and 8 tackles with 26 disposals. He had, how many CBAs did he have? He had 11. So he looks to be splitting his time between midfield and forward now, and obviously pushing high at the ground when he is playing forward, almost like a Dunkley does when he's not in the CBA. So, yeah, Zorko is very interesting, and this role is where he's been a fantasy beast. So the only worry with him, obviously, is just his body. Is just, can he stay fit for the remainder of the season? I'm not 100% sure on that. Lockie Neal, 113. Again, solid. Again, he hasn't scored under 113 in any game he hasn't been tagged in. We'll take away the North Melbourne game. We got injured. The Gold Coast game was bad conditions, and then Geelong where he got tagged by Connor. He hasn't scored under 113. That could have been a lot bigger. He set off for the last 8 minutes, but then again, it's like they were controlling the game pretty comfortably. So why put him out there again when you didn't need to? Would have been good for us fantasy owners, but you can understand why they didn't as a football club. He's their best player. Daniel Rich, 107. That no surprise. He went nuts against West Coast. He just hasn't been consistent enough for us this year to look at him as an option. Noah Answorth, 99. So if you had him still fighting around in defence, that was obviously good from him. I think he got like a 53-point opening quarter. So, but yeah, 99 you'd be happy with. The amount of times I've seen Zach Bailey get 95, 96, 97, or 98 is ridiculous. He always gets around that mark, and then he has a 60. So, but yeah, not bad from him. Jared Lyons, only 86. Again, he's getting 17 CBAs, and he's only getting you an 80. So I'm not really sure why his scoring's down. I know he's playing a bit more of a role this year and letting these younger guys come through, but he's just not an option for us anymore until we see otherwise. Is it Jake Florenka? I think he's a top-up player, so I wouldn't be bringing him in because they're going to get people back next week, West Coast, but He did score well with an 83. If he was guaranteed more games, he could be an option. I think he's a 190k mid, but yeah, I just don't think he will because he's a top up, which means when those guys come back, he won't be playing. So yeah, Tim Kelly, 85. Just again, with West Coast playing so poor, he's just not going to be high scoring enough to look at as an option. Callum Jameson got a 73 in the ruck as well. He was solid enough. Yeah, I just don't know if he's going to be in the team. I would imagine Hugh Dixon's coming in. I imagine that was just sending a message saying, just because you played poorly and just because we don't have enough players doesn't mean that you're going to automatically get picked. I don't know. I still don't think they should have dropped Dixon. I don't think they shouldn't have been allowed to, but hey, what are you going to do? Darcy thought missed his first shot. He got it behind. Oh, no, there you go. Henry Gaff, 68. Yeah, bloody Gaffy, mate. He's not sucking me in this year. It's probably a good thing he's not doing well at all, and then he can't suck me into bringing him in again. Kane Coleman, 56. Wet weather conditions had obviously a bit to play with that, so he could have been a lot worse. So it was solid. He didn't tackle, which is surprising. He normally lays a few tackles. Paddy Nash with a 55. Again, very similar to Kane Coleman. Bad condition to play in. He has got Melbourne, which can be a bit tougher on wingers with obviously Langdon and that, but he's probably the least of my worries. He's only had one game under 70 since round one. He got his break. His break-even was, 54? So his break-even probably going to be at 70 on. So I'm probably keen for another week unless I could do something good with him this week. But if you have got him, it is probably a good week to move him on. He's done his job for us. So yeah, Isaiah Winner not an option. And yeah, that's it from that game. So move on to the last two games, and we're getting to your. So Lockett's just lifted. Thanks, Moon Boy. So did I move up or down any ranks? No, good. I didn't. So what did I come for the week? Oh wow, okay. I was 6,566 for the round. With that, so that's interesting. So we'll go. We can probably go through some of the break evens and stuff like that, and key things after these two games, and get through the questions. Ed Langdon, a 140. It'd be just so good if he was a consistent scorer because he just doesn't come off the ground. Like, did he play 100% game time again? Yeah, he did. Like he always does. He always plays 100%. So if he was a consistent scorer, he'd be a great option because you just know he's not going to come off. Angus Brayshaw, 123. Potentially, is he a guy that could be in the top that mix for top six defenders? I wouldn't be trusting anything until you see it with Christian Salem in the side because he has been playing defence all season, but Salem's only played about a quarter for Melbourne this year. So I'd be waiting before jumping on a guy like him to see if Salem is playing that defensive role and if Brayshaw goes back to a wing. But they sort of seem set on Jimmy Jordan and Ed Langdon as their two wingers. So maybe Brayshaw is playing back in defence, but I guess we'll just find out. Clayton Oliver, 119 with 38 touches. You probably want a little bit more with 38 disposals. Like only 4 marks, 4 tackles, but you're not complaining with a 119. He still hasn't gone under 111, under 110 since besides that one game against Port when he got 68 and then the 100 he got against Bulldogs. So what? Well, 6 of his last 7, he's gone over 110. So he's just been consistent lately. Petrarca with a 118, so that's obviously good with him. I think is that for Petrarca. I think that is that back-to-back 110s now from him. So he's gone, 111 and 118, and he got 115, then he got a 76 against Richmond. So he's an underpriced option to potentially look at because 3 of his last 4 have been over 110. He's now down at 854k, plays West Coast this week, then North Melbourne, and then Fremantle. So yeah, that's made me quite keen, actually. I love Petrarca as well as a player, so that would be a good excuse to bring him in. I just hope that that knee issue that he had is fine. But yeah, he's definitely a guy that is quite cheap. His break even now is 105, so he's probably stopped his money drop. So he's a guy to look at. Jack Steele, 98. Again, just his first time under 100 all year, but again, just not giving you those. Also, he was looking on track for a big score, like in parts of the game, like being on 65 early in the third quarter, being on like near 40 at the start of the second quarter, but he was just quiet in patches. So 98, you're not obviously getting rid of him or anything like that, but you're probably not bringing him in until after his bye, or then again, he's probably going to be too expensive. And there's probably other guys like you'd probably rather have got Petrarca over him. 3 of his last 4 have been 110 plus, and he's like 90k cheaper. So and Steele's going to start dropping with that 98 as well. He would have dropped a little bit. His breaking would have been like 120 odd. See, Jack still went down 14K this week, breaking to 134. So, and he's got Geelong. So, I just want to see the Jack Steele from last year. We just haven't seen it yet, have we, this year? Jack Sinclair, 98, again, just consistently getting it done. I just don't know if he's going to be top 6 defender, but if you've got him, he's getting the job done for you pretty much every week. Max Gorn, 67. That was very uncharacteristic. Only had 16 hitouts, so I don't know if it was the fact that there just wasn't many hitouts in the game. I didn't watch the game. I was at the UFC watching that today, so... in terms of CBA, so Gorn went to 14, Jackson 12. Okay, it's a bit more of a 50-50 split there. I don't know why. Gorn's been in such good form. Yeah, I don't know. Gorn will be fine. He is the number one ruck in the comp, and clearly as well. So, and there you go. Petrarca went to more CBAs than Oliver today. Normally it's the other way around, but they're pretty much 23 CBAs, 21 CBAs. Ryan Marshall, 63. You'd want more if you're looking at him in the ruck. Jake Bowie's 52. You could get rid of him now. He's a guy that you could have, but then again, he has got West Coast this week, so it's a good matchup. So you could keep him just till his bye, I guess, and just he can get you his scores, whatever he gets. Jay Gresham, I did sort of flag this that with Zach Jones come back, I thought his score might not be as high, and his score suffered today. I know he played Melbourne, they got beaten, but if you've got him, probably another guy in the same mold as a Cornelio, a Butters. If you want to get rid of him, you could sort of get rid of him. Andrew Griff says Max had sore neck, played second half. Oh, really? Did he? Okay. Well, if that's the case, then that's probably that's obviously why then. So yeah, that's actually not too bad then. I guess hopefully he'll be fine. I really hope he is, because he's got a sore neck and he's out for a week. I'll probably just keep Hayes, but hopefully he's all good. Windhager only 11 as well. He was obviously the sub. So if you did have him, obviously that sucks that he didn't play the game, or he just didn't come on, because he's obviously, I think his break even was 17, so he didn't even make his break even. So, and then the final game, Carlton and Adelaide. So the high scoring game actually for the week, there was quite a few 120s here, a few hundreds here. So Charlie Curnow, 138, 6 goals, 3. He looks so good at the moment. Carlton, him and Mackay just look really, really good at the moment. So Charlie Curnow is averaging 80.9 for the year. He's up at 619K, and he got a 31 in round 1. I remember someone in the chat in round 2 said they got rid of him after round 1, and then he got 100. So he's gone 100, 72, 69, 102, 60, 75, and 138. Break even to 32. You're not bringing him in now, obviously, but he was at 370, I think, to say. He's gone up 272K for the year. He's been so good. I wish I had the guts to start with him, but I know key forwards are just the guys you just don't start with, but he's been very good. Paddy Cripps, as we mentioned before, another 130, 35 disposals, another game with multiple goals and over 30 disposals. I think the record is 11 set by Kevin Bartlett, 1967. I remember reading that. I'm not a genius. I don't remember all these every stat in the history of the AFL. I just remember reading it like a week ago. And Cripps had 3 of the first 5 games worth 30 disposals and multiple goals. And he's now got 4 games now. He could have had 5 last week, but he kicked 1 goal too, and he dropped that mark at the end. So, but 4 of your first 7 games, and you've gotten multiple goals and 30 disposals is ridiculous. He's just in such good form. Jordan Dawson, as I mentioned before, 128. His first big score of the season. He's been consistently over 82. Outside that round 1 game, he got 75, but as well, only on 20-something at halftime, got to a 75. His break even now is only 78. He's up to 792. Wow, 792. So he went up, what? 25K this week. So that's obviously good. But if you're looking at a defender with a round 13 buy, because there's not many premiums defenders with a round 13 buy, Dawson could be a man. So he was good. Rory Laird as well is another guy that I'm strongly looking at this week. So he got 122, as I said before. I did say before he was a guy I'm looking at, but yeah, so he's gone 110, 118, 122 in his last 3. He went up 10K this week. He's 905, break even of 106. He's just consistent. He's averaging 109.7 for the year. He got a 9 against Port in only 68% game time, still had 31 touches. The 95 against Richmond, he just doesn't play well against Richmond. He only had 26 touches that game as well. But yeah, he's just gone nuts lately. So he's definitely a guy I'm looking at. He's only playing 75% game time, but he is their main midfielder there. So Laird is definitely an option. I'm looking at Sam Doherty, 116 as well. He got the job done. If you've got him, he's still a point of difference for a lot of people as well. Not many people got, Doherty. So he's obviously doing really well. So you've got him, be very happy with that. Adam Chera with a 106. If you've got him, you'd be happy with that. Ben Keys with 98. I did say I think I'd rather Laird out of the two now. I just think since Laird's been back, he has been the numero uno in the midfield, the number one midfielder, and Keys hasn't been getting those big scores with Laird. So I think Keys will still be good. I just don't know if he's going to be a top 8 midfielder now with Laird being the main guy there. But who knows? He has still been good this season. But I think Keys' last 4 scores have been, a 96, a 98, 100, and 102 or something, I'm pretty sure. So what's he done? So his last 3, he's gone 102, 100, and 98. It is against the Dogs, the Giants, and Carlton. So a few sort of difficult more games. But yeah, he's still averaging 100 a year. He's still not a bad option, but yeah, I'm just not sure if he's going to be as consistent as Laird and have a ceiling as good as Laird. But he still went to the most CBAs of any Crows midfield with 24. Haley went to 24 as well, and then Laird was at 18. So I think the ones Laird didn't go to was when he was on the bench. Sam Walsh, 98. I did say I think he's more of a 95 to 105 guy. I don't think he's a 115 guy like some people probably think and hope he will be. I think he hasn't got that ceiling with Cripps doing so well. So I wouldn't look at him as an option. But if you want Walsh, then I can't really talk you out of it if you want Walsh. So what else we got here? So a lot of people scored 90. You had one person score 80, then they're all under 75 here. So it was a high scoring for those guys at the top, and then a lot of people did sort of get under 70 in this game here. So Riley O'Brien, 61 again. He does this. He had 38 hitouts of his 61. That's not good enough as a Crows fan and as a fantasy coach as well. Just not good enough. Rochelle, 56. It was a bit quiet after the first quarter, but to get to 56, not bad. Jack Carroll got a 55. So for me, I think he's probably, if you've got Greg Clark and you've got McComb, I'll probably look at a guy like Jack Carroll as a guy to bring in. So his break even, he's now up at 284. He went up 50K this week. Still negative 10 break even. He's probably the guy I'm going to jump on this week if he holds his spot in the team. Again, only 66%, but he did get some CBAs in this game as well. So he went to, 55 and 68%. Again, still not a bad scoring rate. So he went to 7 CBAs. So he was the, really besides Cripps, Chera, and Kennedy and Walsh, he was the next best. So that's interesting. When Stewart comes back, I think Carroll should play on a wing over Lockie O'Brien, personally. Put him on one wing and then put the other midfielder, if it's a Walsh or a Chera, on the other wing, and then away you go. But yeah, Carroll I think is probably the pick of the downgrades this week. Corey Dern with a 44. So I think I don't know if he's going to make as much money now as what we would have hoped. So his break even is 38 now, and he went up 9K this week. So he's coming to an end. I'm probably going to hold on to him just because he's got that first buy. So he could be a guy that could be useful over the buy round. So that's why I'm going to keep him. But if you want to get rid of him, I guess it's not the worst option either. You could do that. So there you go. That's pretty much it from the games there. So in terms of break-evens, I'll quickly go through the lower break-evens for the week. I just want to see who has got low break-evens. So do that and then break-even. So Greg Clark still negative 31, Carroll negative 10, Maurice Rioli negative 8, Begg negative 4, Aaron Black, I don't think he'll play negative 3, Jameson negative 2, and then McComb and Stranatica negative 1. And you've got Tomlin got break even to 0. How much is he? 604. Yeah, not an option. But 146 and 140 his last 2. And he's got Hawthorn this week. Yeah. He could be one that could be like Tex of last year at like 600K. When's his buy? Round 12. He's got Hawthorn, Essendon City. It's not the craziest thing to say bring Tom Lynch in for 3 weeks and then ride that price rise. But then again, he did get a 30 against Melbourne. But then it's Melbourne. So I don't know. That's not the sort of game I play, but some people might be keen on that. And Cooper Stevens break even of 6. So, yeah. So Taranto, 810K. Yep, break in 131. So brilliant. So he's still going down. What's Naish at? Naish break in to 76. So, yeah, probably time to move on. Horn Francis break even to 74. So, Nick Martin break even to 39. So, it went down. So, he's at 602K. He's just ridiculous. McCann break in to 26. Yay! So, he's going to make some more money. That's good. I don't know why cheated like that. Probably a bit weird, but there you go. And DeConning's now over 300k. So these defender guys are starting to make money now. So if you've got McCartney and DeConning on your bench in your defence, they're making a little bit of money now, which is good. So very handy with the buys coming up when we want to downgrade guys. And the McComb's over 300k as well. My bench is starting to look a little bit healthier than what it was a couple of weeks ago. So, Heaney went down 28k this week, and he's got a break in 128. God damn it. And Butters is now down at 636. He's now down 3k on the year, and he was up at 720 at one point. I just don't know what's happened to him after he went big at the start of the year. Maybe we all just got tricked into that big Hawthorn game. He got like 96 against Brisbane. He got the 130 against Hawthorn. Then since then, it's just been we did well against Carlton, but then that's it. He's only had one good game. So yeah, there you go. All right, let's get in these questions anyway. So here we go. So I'll go to the top again. If you've got any questions, if you're watching live, put them in the live chat and I'll answer. If you've got any trades, +3 needed threes, any things you've got if you're watching live. Also, as I say all the time, if you want to leave a like on the video, there's 5 people watching that haven't liked it. Or it could be more, but if you want to like, it takes 2 seconds, helps me out a lot, and I do appreciate the support. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're reaching close to 400. I think we're 24 away last time I checked. So hopefully we can get close to that 400 mark. So, and then 500, and then hopefully more. So questions. Let's get into these. So, I'm just looking for the questions where I didn't read out. It was where someone said, Stephen Young, who's the first one. So Stephen Young, hang on. So Stephen Young says, I have a trade question when you answer them. Oh, yep. So I didn't even realize you said when you answer them. I have Bowie, Ward, Butters, and Cogs. Do I downgrade Ward to Greg Clark and upgrade Bowie to premium defender? Or do I go Ward to Clark and Butters to Darcy Cameron? Darcy Cameron's nice because actually I didn't check. So Darcy Cameron is now up at 538, break even at 19. He's got the Dogs this week who might have English back but might not. So he's just got back to back hundreds. It's just been really good. He's getting around the ground. He's getting marks and tackles. He's getting enough hit outs. 538. Yeah, moving Butters to him is nice. I do like that, but I do think Bowie to a premium defender and going Ward down to Clark is the play. You just have to. I'd rather Butters, Clark, and a premium defender over Bowie, Darcy Cameron, and Clark. So if you could go like Bowie to Darcy Cameron, if you've got like an O'Driscoll on your bench and you can flick some people in positions, I'd potentially go Bowie to Darcy Cameron. That's what I'd potentially look at doing. That's just an option for you. Andrew Griffith says, I'm thinking Ward to Greg Clark. Don't have the money to get my rooks to a primo. Yeah, this is probably another week where people can look at double downgrading because you could go and get Carroll or Cooper Stevens. And then probably for those people that didn't get Greg Clark when he played the first week, obviously everyone that got him last week would have got rid of him. So you can bring him in. I think Greg Clark's a must-have if he is back in the team. So, yeah, I would definitely be getting Greg Clark in, and you could potentially look at double downgrade or even flicking like a Horn Francis to a Darcy Cameron or something. Moon Boy, Butters or Cornelio to Darcy Cameron. Oh, that's a tough one because both of them have been poor. So have they both got the same? I think they've both got the same buy, so it doesn't even come down to buys. So Cornelio, break even of 102, got a 65. Butters break even of 107, break even of 117. He's got a 63, and he's cheaper. If you can go Butters, I'd probably go Butters first. I know Cornelio's not playing midfield, but at least Cornelio's been consistently getting more often than not 80s. So I'd probably go Butters, but yeah, they're both just not good. They're both just brown dots, as we like to call them. So just not getting it done. Stephen Sexton, sorry. I'm probably going to trade Dixon to Begg and Horn Francis to Clark for a worn chest. Yeah, again, not Begg was the other one, so I was thinking of. And Maurice Rioli's another one. It's not a bad week to double downgrade with buyers approaching, getting those red dots fixed. Because people who've got Butters and Cornelio and Horn Francis and all these guys are just getting 60s. There's not much you can do. So they're like, hopefully they all come good. Maybe Horn Francis you can move on, but yeah. And then as you said, you've got about 5 red dots. So it is good to fix up those red dots. You just fix them up, I reckon. Andrew Griffith says, no, I read that one already. Read that one from Moonboy. Read that one as well. Andrew Griffiths. Yeah, I've read that as well. Stephen Young, with my trade question, I'm thinking of keeping Butters because the North matchup. Oh, yes, thank you. Actually, that would probably make me go and get rid of Keneally over Butters, I think, because I would still just hold both just because you can get rid of them at the round 12 bye. It's only a few weeks away. But Butters does a good matchup this week against North, so he could actually score 100 or actually score at 80 at least. So, but yeah, North matchup. Could I go Cogs down to Greg Clark? And then because you've got English, go Bowie to Jordan Dawson. This would only happen if English is named. That's not a bad play. That's not a bad play. Going Cogs down to Greg Clark, you're going to get a guy that's going to make a lot of money. You're going to have a guy that's playing purely forward at the moment. And then you've got English, and then you're going Jake Bowie to Jordan Dawson. I like it. I do like that if English is named. So I'd tick that off. And Tony Ford says, Cripps is carrying my team week after week. Yeah, I know how you're feeling. Brownlow favourite for sure. He is, but Lockie Neal and Andrew Brayshaw have got their hands up. But I do think Cripps is a clear favourite at the moment. But Neal and Brayshaw are definitely going to be quite close. It's going to be very interesting with the two ball magnets boys, with Cripper and Lockie Neal going head-to-head on Brownlow night. Could be a draw at the moment. I don't know. Cripps is probably in front at the moment, though. He's probably got a lot of 3-vote games. Like, this is another 3 votes for him today again. Actually, no. Maybe Kerno gets the 3 votes because he kicked 6 goals. So that's going to be really interesting on Brownlow night if Kerno gets the 3 votes or if it's Cripps. So very interesting. 35 touched and 2 goals compared to 6 goals, 3 and 21 disposals. It's going to be very hard to split. I guess maybe Cripper is always in the midfield, but I just don't know. We'll see. Is Cameron Brown for sure? Averaging 125, taking out the injury score. Yeah, 100%. Hasn't scored under 123 since round 2. Round 2 onwards, he scored over that. And yeah, he's just been so good, hasn't he? And then Tofo says, Took or Tracker to bring in. I would honestly go Petrarca, to be honest, because at least Petrarca in 3 of his last 4 has gone 110 plus. And was it like the 70 that he got in the other game as well? 76 against Richmond as well. I don't know. He obviously 3 of his last 6 have been under 100 as well, but it's been 3 of his last 4 have been over 110. So I don't know. It's a tough one. Petrarca's probably not likely to get tagged much because they go to Oliver. And the fact that he's got West Coast and North in his next 2. West Coast Optus, North at Marvel, and then Fremantle MCG, Sydney MCG, Collingwood MCG. That's a really good run. And then Took he's got good matchups, but he's got them at hard venues to score. So he's got Fremantle at Metricons, that's fine. But then you've got Bulldogs at Mars Stadium. We know Mars is difficult to score at. Hawthorn, but it's up at TIO Stadium. So again, that's going to be hard to score at. And then North Melbourne at TIO, it's going to be hard to score as well. So they both got good runs coming up. It's just that the Gold Coast game at TIO is at night and then in the afternoon on this. Oh, no, I haven't done that round. Hang on. They have done that. They have done that round, haven't they? Hang on. Let me check on. It's just not I've done on fantasy. I'm round 12. Gold Coast playing North Melbourne at 4:00 on the Saturday. Yeah, that's a weird time. Twilight game up in Darwin. So that might not be as bad, but the Hawthorn one at night, that's going to be quite difficult to score with the slippery conditions. But yeah, I'd probably go Petrarca, I think, out of that one. He is cheaper as well. Took Miller's what's Took Miller priced at? So Took's priced at 886. His break-even's 110. Petrarca's about 40k cheaper. I think Petrarca's probably the guy I think you pick out of those 2. So there you go. All right. Well, I reckon we're done. It's nearly 109 minutes. Well, no, not 109 minutes, an hour and 9 minutes. So apologies. But yeah, thank you for joining me all on Sunday night as always. Hope you guys had a good round. Early trade thoughts for me, rage trades, probably going to trade half the team because a lot of them scored poorly, but early trade thoughts, hopefully Hewitt gets named. I'm just going to have to keep him regardless. If he misses this week, it's only going to be one more week. And yeah, like Dacos on the block, he's got a break even 9 plays. Dogs, but then Dogs do get points to defenders. So like Dacos playing back a little bit. O'Driscoll's probably fine, plays Gold Coast. Break even's 48, so it's starting to creep up a little bit. I honestly don't really have an idea. Maybe Horn Francis down to Jack Carroll if Greg Clark gets named, so I can put Greg Clark on field and then use that money. I'm thinking he may use that money on top of a guy like a Butters, a Canelio, a Paddy Nash, a Dacos, and go and bring in Andrew Brayshaw. I'm looking at that. Obviously, Petrarca's another guy there. Roy Laird, they're guys. But there's also an option of I just go on my bench, which is probably the play. It's probably go like a Hoff to Jack Carroll, because I've got 140k in the bank, and then going Horn Francis, Darcy Cameron. If you're getting rid of a red dot in Hoff, and then you're getting in a guy that's making money for Horn Francis who's not. So that's probably what is the smarter play. But yeah, something to do with that anyway. That's probably what I'm looking at doing. So, yep, there you go. Well, anyway, if you did enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like. If you enjoyed the content, as always, thank you for joining me on Sunday night. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Do appreciate all the support that you guys shine here, and spending time with me on the Sunday night. It's always nice. If you want to follow my social media, my Twitter, Instagram, and all that, links in the description below. The links are fixed now, so go follow them. If you've got any questions, hit me up at either of those. At Twitter or Instagram, more Twitter probably, because I'm probably more active on there these days. So I'll get to them there. And yeah, good luck with your trades this week, and I'll see you guys on Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time as always. So see you guys then. I'm out. Have a good week. Cheers.